So I wanted to share this because this was something that I've been studying, and I even end up praying and ministering to a group one day, but wanted to share it here in short form. I was reading Luke 5 one day, and after the Lord had told me to go there, and something I found was very interesting. Many of you feel frustrated. I have even felt frustrated, right, with things and vocations and spheres that I operated in. And it's not necessarily that you're being completely moved out. It just means that there's a shift. And I saw something very interesting in Luke 5 that was highlighted to me. And so we all know this to be where, when you hear pastors preach it or you hear preachers preach it, they always talk about this is you gonna have a net breaking year, right? Because this is the text that speaks about how Jesus was on the boat and told Peter to go out into the deep after they were spending a whole night trying to catch fish and caught nothing, right? And so when he goes out into the deep and he, casts the net to the other side, what happens? He begins to gather all these different fish, and he needs even help to be able to bring in the fish because there was so many of them. But I think one thing that was highlighted to me that we miss is that the net did break, right? And it's not that, oh great, yeah, it is, and it's also simultaneously the fact that he didn't have the capacity to carry what he was now having the ability to catch. And I think we missed that particular part. And so he was able to gather all these fish, and yes, the net broke, and yes, God gave him, gave them abundance, when he listened to God, nevertheless, and went out to try again, right? That is significant. That is powerful. But it is also powerful to know that he no longer had the capacity to carry what he was once known to carry. Right? And some of you are feeling this frustration in your life, and it's because you have a greater capacity than what you are giving yourself the ability to carry. You haven't went into the deep enough. Remember, he was told to go out into the deep. And when he went out into the deep, he was able to capture all these fish with Jesus. And so I believe that many of the frustrations you are feeling is because you need to begin to go deeper. You need to begin to go higher. And when you go out, come on, you will begin to recognize that there is a greater capacity in which you carry, and that God is calling you into a new season. And what happened with Peter in that season? God said, Jesus said, I'm going to make you a fisherman of fish, so now a fisherman of man. And so what he was once known for was now literally transitioned into something else because he had a greater capacity. And then later on, when Peter got reinstated in John, we recognize that he was now made the rock of the church, right? And he was sent out to go and make disciples. And so I'm telling you right now that the frustrations you feel is because God is changing you, and he's changing your name, and that you are now having to release the old wineskins for the new ones. Amen. And what we need to do, we need to surrender.